Good morning. This is Walk by Faith. Please like, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, and share. Sorry about the setup today. I've had problems with my plugs after that storm, and so I had to set up a little bit differently today. But I would like to talk about the fact that Jesus is coming back for a pure, spotless bride. I wrote something the other day, and I've started a writers club. We meet once a month, and we just encourage each other in our writing. I've always wanted to write, but I have never had an outlet like this before. And I discovered one of my friends. They also liked writing, and I said, let's get together. And so now we get together once a month. And some amazing things are coming out of that. But something I wrote, we always have like 20 minutes free writing when we meet together. So something that came out of me was, why am I so disloyal? Why do I know the Lord. I have a living relationship with Jesus. But when the enemy feeds, and this goes for all Christians, we all have this struggle. When the enemy feeds lies into our head, and right now the enemy has control of the media. There's a lot of demonic narratives going around to trick people, to trick weak Christians. And so the battle isn't just in our minds anymore, it's in our media. It's in kind of, there's been like this brainwashing of people, even Christians, who obviously are not strong Christians, believing all these lies. That's why here on this channel, I always say, you will know they are Christians by their fruits. If the fruits that you see on a screen are anger, unforgiveness, impatience, whatever, those are not fruits of the Spirit. And that should be a gauge by which you can see this person is either being influenced by the devil, by the demonic narrative, or they are speaking the truth that comes from God. Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. He said it himself. And so I was thinking, how disloyal am I that sometimes I have come to believe the devil's lies? And sometimes in my life, I've been speaking those lies over myself. And how disloyal am I to my relationship with the Lord? And I was saying, basically I was writing and I was saying, it's like when you have a best friend and they know you so well. They know you inside out, twisted all around. They know you so well. But then people come and they corner your best friend and they tell your best friend like vile stories about you. They make up horrible stories about you and they tell your best friend, and your best friend, even though they know those stories are not true, even though they know you well, they kind of are manipulated and swayed against you. And that is disloyalty. And you, as a person who those rumors are being told about, you would feel that disloyalty. It would hurt you deeply. So why do I, when I get told lies by the enemy, why do I partner with them? Why am I manipulated into believing those lies, even though I know the Lord? I know he don't make no junk. And I know that he has a plan and purpose for my life. And now this doesn't only apply to me, this applies to you. This applies to Christians. I've seen Christians just fall under the weight of what the enemy is saying through the media, not only with their own minds. but through the media, and they are consuming this media that is full of lies, and it affects how they think. And you can always tell when it affects how they think, because it's the fruit of that is fear, it's impatience, it's anger, it's self-righteousness, and these are not the fruit of the Spirit. So us as Christians, we need to get stronger. We need to stick up for our faith. And that means that we are going to come under spiritual attack. For instance, I have a problem with my neck right now. I was on Sunday teaching a little bit of a dancey kind of actions to the kids at church. And it was really cool. I don't know if you know that song, Put on the Full Armor of God. I shouldn't be raising my arms. You see, the devil that tries to inhibit you. I was doing a good thing. We're basically going to sing the song in front of the church. And it was about putting the full armor of God. It was kind of lots of kind of stamping with our feet and all that stuff. And I didn't realize at the time that I was actually doing something to my neck, but it only started when I came home and I sat down and then I got up and got some water, that I realized, hey, I've got a really bad pinched nerve in my neck. And so I've been in lots of pain. I've had to take anti-inflammatories. I've had to put ice on. I've had to put heat on. And I'm still not better, but although I am better, I can kind of slightly move my head. Okay, that's a bit of pain. And I can slightly move my head there, actually a bit further. But I used, earlier on, I could move my head further, but it just depends, hey. But I can move my head up, gently and down. But I cannot do any jerky movements. And even in the night, like my neck kind of obviously came a bit out of alignment because I got like a cramp in my neck. My point is that I was doing something for God. I was doing something that would excite the kids. The kids at our church is very young. We have not done a lot of dancey, like nice, cool action songs for the parents. There was, I think the year we moved here, there was like a little mini like play that they gave, but I wasn't involved then. But what happened is it was so cool. I got the idea to do the song, and I thought it would be really good if we did this in front of the parents. But I didn't want to be pushy about it. I thought, well, I'm just going to start teaching it to them. And so I did. I started teaching it to them. But then I didn't do it for months after because things happened and my mind kind of got off it. And I was still teaching the kids now and then, like about once a month I teach them. And, you know, there were different topics to be covered and all that stuff. But anyway, so then my dear friend saw the song also and she said, oh, we need to do the song in front of the parents. So we connected there with the Spirit, you know, the Spirit connected our desires. And then she told the person who's in charge of the kids, and she said, "Hey, Abby and Ayla, they started teaching that to the kids already. And when we taught it, the kids were enthusiastic, and I think that and they remembered the moves that we taught them. We'd only taught them the chorus, but the chorus was basically most of the song. There were a few other words, but yeah. So we go there and we have fun and everything, and yeah, I really felt cool afterwards. I felt like I'd given to the kids, and I felt like the kids were getting excited. But you know, it's because you're inputting God's word into those kids. And funny enough, the thing that we would that the song is called "The Full Armor of God," and it's about putting on the full armor of God. And in this time and space, we need to put on the full armor of God. And it has a very powerful message about spiritual warfare. That we are in a war, we need to put on the full armor of God every day. And the enemy, I think the enemy got scared and he tried to take away my ability to actually do that, because I said I'm going to practice that every day until I'm not huffing and puffing afterwards, because the kids were saying, oh my gosh, why are you so huffing and puffing. I said, my darling, I'm old. I'm not as young as you, okay? But I mean, actually, I'm just unfit. So I decided, no, I'm going to beat this thing. I'm going to practice this every day. And then I come home and I feel like this, and my neck is so sore, and like I can't move my head. And I just felt like that was really like an attack of the enemy, preventing me from doing that, because there is truth. Even though I'm just doing actions to kids' songs, there is truth in what I'm singing about, and it builds life. And even though it's just a kid's song, it's never just a kid's song. It's actually singing out the truth of the word, and that is powerful, and it builds you up. And the enemy wanted to rob me of that. Okay, he's not going to. I'm going to get better from this next thing, and I'm gonna go all in, so it's going to be great. I haven't given up. My neck is a lot better, but I just have to still be quite careful. I don't think I can do those moves for a while, but that's fine. That's not going to stop me. I will find a way. Okay. So, I think that's about what is required of us as Christians now, is just to be like, I know I'm supposed to do this. I'm going to do it. I'm going to get it done. Even if I have to make a slightly different plan to get it done, I'm going to get it done. I'm not going to believe the lies. Sorry, no. And why don't you believe the lies? The world challenges you because they want to get you to admit that you're a Christian. So admit it. Be proud that you're a Christian. But you will come under attack. They will not like you. And I think part of it is like a jealousy because of what you have. Think about it. As Christians, we have faith. We have hope. The world does not have faith. The world does not have hope. The world has violence, fear, jealousy, anger, hatred. But the world will turn around, especially towards Christians, and say, you've got jealousy, you've got anger, you've got hatred, you're racist, you're this, you're that, to excuse their bad behavior. They know they have bad behavior, but they will turn around and call us and say that we have bad behavior. But we do not have bad behavior. We are living out the truth. And they are jealous of that relationship that you have with Christ because they can see it. They can see it in your eyes. Talking about seeing it in your eyes, someone said at church that someone from another church, I think they know about us, our church, and they went to their church and they said, those people at that church, they spend time with each other, and they take time to help each other and everything, and they like spend their lives with each other, and they do life together, and you can just see Jesus in their eyes. And it's like, that's so cool. And now he's starting to build that in their church, that they can spend more time with each other, helping each other out and loving on each other, because they saw something that we were doing that was right. Not that everything we do is 100% all the time. We make mistakes, but they saw something that we were doing that actually shows love to each other. And they saw it was good, and they saw it actually reflected, helped Jesus to be amplified in our lives and to be reflected in our faces. So then they want to do it too, because they see what happens when the church comes together. And so we have to be strong. We have to be courageous. We have to understand that this is Jesus. We know who he is. Don't let the devil try and tell you who he is. Don't let the devil try and tell you who you are, because he's scared. He's so scared of you understanding what God has given you to do. And because when you do that, when you do what God's called you to do, he's going to get a big kick in the tushy. Sorry, guys, but he's going to get it. He's going to get it good, And evil is going to get such a hit. And especially when Christ comes back, that's why we have to work now to become pure, spotless bride. And it's only through him that we can do that. It's not through ourselves. It's not through our own beautiful, my neck. I'm getting too excited. It's not through our own beautiful, like, singing or working with kids or, whatever we do, it's not from what we do, but it's from our hearts when we do it, from hearts that are aligned with the Lord. And I just want to read this over you just to encourage you. Joshua 1, verse 6 and 7. Be strong and confident and courageous, for you will give this people as an inheritance the land which I swore to their fathers, ancestors, to give them. Only be strong and very, very courageous. Be careful to do everything in accordance with the entire law Moses, my servant, commanded you. Do not turn from it to the right or to the left, so that you may prosper and be successful wherever you go. That's what God wants us to do. He wants us to prosper and be successful wherever we go. But it's through keeping His law. And how do we do that? Because Jesus Christ is the fulfillment of the law. So we follow Jesus. We do what He does. And the law is simple. It's the 10 Commandments. The whole of the law is based on those 10 Commandments. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, and soul. Do not murder, do not steal, do not covet your neighbor's things. Things like that. Basic things that we have all grown up learning, hopefully. And so, guys, let's do our best, but not in our flesh, not in our own strength, because in ourselves we are weak, but He is strong, and He shows Himself the best through weakness. So we plug into Him. We plug into who He says He is. We plug in who He says we are, because that is the truth. What the enemy says is not the truth. But remember those fruits of the Spirit. That is how you gauge what is the truth and what is a liar. Okay, see you tomorrow. Bye.